years ago, I spent New Year holidays at Cape Otway Light Station. That beacon of hope, how it's also known, it's the oldest surviving light station in mainland Australia, built in 1848. Cape Otway Light Station is also an open-air museum where you can rent an old renovated lodge right next to the famous light station. Once all daily visitors are gone, it's a very tranquil place. It's away from city lights. It's just you, the nature, the ocean, and the stars. Have you ever thought of astronauts traveling through the vastness of space? So, well, here they are. This little star inside the yellow circle is the International Space Station, the ISS. The ISS is a science lab flying above us where astronauts live and work in microgravity. Up there, they can see how things behave without gravity getting in the way. This helps them create better medicines, stronger materials, and understand the human body in new ways. Astronauts are not just scientists, they're pioneers preparing us to one day travel deep into space. On that day, when I was observing them flying above Australia, 7 crew members from NASA, Japanese Space Agency JAXA, and Russia's Roscosmos were living and working together on the ISS. Here they are. You can see their photo that was taken the exact same day. The ISS is a science lab the size of a football field that's flying silently above our head. It's just 400 kilometers up. That's the distance between Melbourne and Mildura. It's orbiting Earth 28,000 kilometers per hour every 90 minutes. The astronauts aboard witness 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets every single day. But the International Space Station is just the beginning. Right now, China's Tiangong station also circling our planet. And as the ISS prepares to retirement, new era is taking place. Commercial space stations like Axiom, Orbital Reef, VAST, Starlink, and upcoming the Indian space station are poised to turn low Earth orbit into a vibrant hub of science, manufacturing, and even tourism. So we're entering a time when space will no longer be the final frontier, but the place of daily life. Inside the ISS, astronauts live and work in a space about the size of Boeing Dreamliner, just a cabin. It's just enough room for 7 people to conduct world-class research and also to keep the systems running as well as take care of themselves. But being off Earth comes with real challenges, not just physical, but also psychological. Isolation, confinement, and distance from loved ones, that come with a very heavy cost. At the same time, microgravity causes the body to rapidly lose bone density as well as muscle mass. So think of up to 20% in just 5 to 11 days. So that's why astronauts, they exercise 2.5 hours per day, 6 days a week to protect their body and mind. Space stations are not just an only example where people live, work, study, and exercise in isolation. Anyone remember COVID lockdowns? There are more examples of isolation. Think of seniors in aged care facilities. Think of prisoners, incarcerated individuals. Think of patients in intensive care units. International students, students in remote areas, or those working in mines or in Antarctica. So our interdisciplinary research team is exploring how to design, develop, and evaluate meaningful extended reality experiences for people living in isolated environments. Not only astronauts on long-duration space missions, but those on Earth with limited access to nature, culture, family, and friends. At the intersection of sensory science and psychology, then engineering and technology, and human-centered design with indigenous knowledges lies XR, extended reality. This is not just about immersive tech. It's about reimagining how we understand and engage with the world. Through the lenses of humanities and social sciences, deeply informed by indigenous knowledges, XR become a space for relational thinking, land-based wisdom, and culture continuity. This really invites us to design with respect, with reciprocity, and with responsibility. When we center diverse ways of knowing, XR transform not from a tool of escape, but becomes a platform for connection, healing, and collective imagination. Now, I would really love you to take you on a virtual or visual journey through some of the projects that we've been working with, our amazing undergrad, master's, and PhD students. So one of our PhD students, Tiasha, she is leading the exciting project between Deakin and Coventry University in the UK. She's collaborating with intensive care doctor to develop an art-based, game-like virtual reality that is designed specifically for patients in intensive care units. To truly understand their needs, she surveyed intensive care practitioners, extreme environment experts, as well as analog astronaut specialists. So those who simulate space missions here on Earth. So after running focus groups with doctors and nurses, and after interviewing intensive care survivors, she will test this experience first with healthy participants in bed, and then later with the patients in intensive care units across Australia. So her work is not just to help improve patients' care, but it's also to help shape how we design for astronauts on long-duration space missions. Anushka, an undergraduate mechatronics student, is working closely with First Nations scholars on something really remarkable, a nature-based VR in which is designed for relaxation and mental well-being. As part of his final year engineering project, he's created a virtual journey that begins in a dark cave and that symbolizes isolation. Then, following the trail of ants, the users emerge into an Australian outback surrounded by waterholes, red rock, gum trees, cacadus, and kangaroos. A very powerful sensory landscape. So why does this matter? Nearly half the world's population will experience mental health challenges in their lifetime, and most won't get care they need, especially international students who often face isolation, culture adjustment, and limited support. We know that time in nature helps relieve stress, but not everyone can access it. So that's where immersive technology comes in. So what Anushka is doing is the VR experience that is designed to connect with nature and to reduce stress as well. So he developed research protocol to test with international students using surveys, interviews, and observational data. And these results will be actually presented at the International Astronautical Congress this year in Sydney, together with Tiasha's research. And eventually, this nature-based VR will also include haptics, physiological sensors, as well as a story that lets interact with the environment and its wildlife. So that's making it not just a calming experience, but a meaningful one, emphasizing connectedness with nature. Then during COVID lockdowns, when museums were closed and people were stuck at home, PhD student Mansa, now already proud graduate, she set out to rethink how we experience cultural heritage. Her research explored 3D interaction techniques to make virtual museums more engaging. Her case study? The iconic Australian ute designed in Geelong by Lou Bend at Ford in 1934. While the ute has become a really beloved part of Australian life, this important local invention isn't even displayed in Geelong. So our team tracked one down east of Melbourne, and with the owner's generous support, we 3D scanned the entire car. We also surveyed the local Geelong community and asked them, how would you like this story to be told? So one idea inspired Mansa's prototype. An interactive experience where users load 1930s objects, farm objects, into this kind of a Tetris that communicates history through play. Because of the lockdowns, Mansa also created a VR kit in a box, delivered it to people's doorsteps when she was doing her research, and then guided them through the experience via Zoom. People loved it. It gave them something meaningful, playful, and culture to engage with during the isolated time. And here we are at the last example. Yaka, an exchange master student in tourism, who set out to explore how can we connect people to places. Even from thousands of kilometers away, then he filmed a 360-degree cycling journey through the karst region. This is the region that it's a really breathtaking landscape between Slovenia and Italy, and he uploaded that to a virtual cycling platform. The cycling platform is used by people who are training out indoors. And his goal was to see whether immersive indoor cycling could influence how people perceive and connect to a destination. But he didn't stop there. Yaka tested his virtual ride with 2 groups in Australia. So first group was Slovenians with personal and cultural ties with this region, and the second group was participants with no emotional connection. Using biosensors to measure emotional responses, he explored how each group reacted and what this could tell him about memory, identity, and emotional immersion. The findings are currently analyzed, and they will help us to create personalized, immersive content, not just for tourism, but also for people in hospitals, aged care, and remote locations. So helping them to connect, even if they are physically apart. So while I was fortunate to spend New Year's at a place like Cape Otway Light Station, I'm really grateful to be part of a team that explores how immersive technologies might help bring moments of connection, calm, and culture and nature to those who may not be able to access these experiences.